Está iniciando. Estamos. Hey, hello. We're starting a webinar. We're going to wait for a few people to join us, okay? In the meantime, I wanted to let people know that if you have any questions, you can use, there you go, our hashtag SAP webinar. You can ask everything in there. We also have our email, which is contact@startupchile.org, where you can do all the questions, and the marketing and communications team is constantly checking and responding, especially now that we're closing the application process. So to give you an overview what we're going to see today, I'm going to explain in general what the program is about. I explained it a little bit in detail in the previous Q&As in case you want to check it out. Then we're going to see the different dates, when you're going to get the results, when the program starts, what is it that we're looking for with this particular program, which are the type of startups that we would like to support and the focus on the program, and all the different questions that we have been receiving. I have a lot of them here. The team has been working hard to prepare this webinar, so I'm sure it's going to be very useful for all of them. So we have a few viewers, so I'm going to start on the program itself. Just to give you an overview, the S Factory is a program from Startup Chile. Startup Chile at this moment is an umbrella brand with 3 different programs. One of them is the S Factory. It's the one that we call that is in the pre-acceleration phase. That means that we accept startups that have initiated a while ago, at most 6 months of development, or also startups that are just an idea. So you have a cool team that have a lot of technical abilities to create a startup, and then eventually, of course, a business. And you can only have the idea and apply with so. Of course, if you have some validation, even if it's not that professional, it's a little bit rusty, it's okay, because it shows that there is a market out there, that there's a need, and actually there's a solution that it fits with the need. So it gives us a lot more information for us in order to take a better decision. So the program is, it's a 4-month program, a 4-month acceleration program, where it starts in June 5th. If you get into the program, it starts in June 5th. Okay, that's the timing. We create different generations. This is a group of people that you share the timing in the program, you share the different activities. We believe in building a community. It's a very strong experience. And of course, it's going to help you share with other people in the same phases that we're dealing with, and also with the rest of the Startup Chile community. So I mentioned that we have this program. We also have the seed program, which is like mid-stage, I would say. It still is early stage, but it's like mid-stage in between compared to the other one. So it's companies that already have some hypothesis validated, a lot more traction, and they need that extra time in order to get the product right and get the product market fit. Okay, and then we have the scale program, which is for companies that have already validated their hypothesis. They already have customers, and they just need a little bit of a push to expand their operations, to grow to other markets. And that is what Startup Chile has, 3 different programs. I'm going to focus on the one that calls us today. So the S Factory is a program that gives 10 million pesos, which for, in the current, official currency rate at the moment is $15,000, okay? That's the amount that everyone that gets into the program receives. We also have a special amount, an extended amount for the best ones, the best performing startups, which is at the end of the program. We have an event called the Pitch Finale. Okay, it's the last one. It's the best startups that have been throughout the program that they pitch to a group of investors and other people in the ecosystem, of course, to the Startup Chile team. And those can get up to 5 million Chilean pesos additional. That would be like, I would say, $8,000, $9,000 extra. Okay, so you have those 2 parts of it. It's a program that it's focused on teams that have at least 1 female founder, and that's the one that participates in the program. This is an empowerment of founders program, okay? We want to increase the diversity in the startups that we have in our different programs, and that's why we created it as a pre-acceleration, so that we can be a factory, as the name says, a startups factory, for the other programs to have more diversity. So far, it's been successful, and the idea is that you start in this program, then you can move on, you can apply to the next one, the seed one. And actually, in the current generation of the seed program, we have 10% of the participants It's an alumni from the S Factory. So it's working. You just need a little bit of funding, a little bit of time to get the product just right, or the hypothesis or the MVP, in order to be competitive enough to get into the following program. Okay, so it's been great. And this generation, which I mentioned, that we have the 10% alumni from TSF, that's how we call it in short, TSF, as the Startups Factory, is the one that has the highest percentage of female leading the team. So we're very proud that that has been successful so far. Okay, I'm sorry I haven't introduced myself. My name is Patricia Hansen. I'm Director of Acceleration at Startup Chile. I take care of the acceleration in all 3 programs. And I'm also Director of the S Factory. That's why I'm speaking you here and inviting you to apply. Remember, we close application tomorrow, 5 p.m. Chilean time. That is GMT -3, okay? Not most of the time, but we have seen a few startups, a few founders dealing with the platform not working at the last moment, because it's obvious everybody is in there trying to submit their application, or I don't know, your internet connection failed. So please do it before that, at least 4 hours before that. Everything that might happen in the wrong sense, it could happen, and we see it happening all the time. We receive people sending us email after the deadline. I'm sorry, there's nothing that we can do. We're very strict with our deadlines, and I'm sure you're going to understand. We are a public policy, so there are certain requirements that we need to follow. Okay, so if you applied at 5:05, you're out. The platform is going to be closed anyway. Okay, so don't even try to apply at that time. The results are given on April 21st. You'll receive an email which will say, yes, congratulations, you got accepted, yay, or no, I'm sorry, try next time. And that is an email that everybody receives, okay, April 21st. Wait until the end of the day to receive it, okay? If you don't see it in your inbox, check your spam folder in case it's there, because it's an automated email that we send, sometimes goes into spam. If you haven't received it by the April 21st, you can write back to the team at contact@startupchile.org asking for it. Right after that, a few weeks after that, you'll receive a rejection reason, which is a standardized reason of rejection. It's not a feedback. Don't take it as a feedback, which is because it's not. We don't give feedback because it's too much, too many startups, and we cannot give personalized feedback for everyone, okay? But on the 21st, you're going to receive the yes or no. After that, we start the landing process, which for the foreign participants, we help them get the visas. We work with consulates around the world to get the visas approved on time so that the teams can be here in Santiago, Chile on June 5th. For the Chileans, well, it's just a matter of waiting. And yes, the program starts. Everybody needs to be here for the program to start. Okay, we're very strict on having everybody participated since day 1. Okay, no exceptions on that. So what are we looking for? Okay, so of course we are looking for a female founder that applies as a team leader. Remember, this is a program that we want to encourage more diversity. That means that we want more women to get into technology and innovation, but that doesn't mean that we want only women, okay? So mixed teams, mixed gender teams, of course, they're welcome. So the thing is that the female founder is the one that needs to apply as team lead. And remember, once you submit your application, you cannot change a single thing, okay? So make all the adjustments possible while you're doing it now, before it's too late. I say this because often we receive mails applying as team leads. I'm sure it's a mistake you did in the platform, but I'm sorry, there's nothing that we can do about it. And because of our requirements, you're out. You're not even going to evaluation, okay? So the founder, this female founder, is the one that needs to stay in Chile for the 4th month program, considered 2-3 weeks more because of legal procedures that we have to go through. And even in the case that you receive this extended amount of 5 million Chilean pesos, that's extended up to 3 months if you would like to, okay? It's up to, it's not the minimum. We also require the founder, well, and the team member that applies, it's not a requirement for that person to be in Chile for the entire period, okay? It's just the one that applies as the team lead. And the same goes into the dedication. We ask for 100% dedication. That means no working full-time, not working part-time, no studies, like full-time studies, no. So if you're thinking about applying to this program, make sure you're thinking correctly about the choices that you will have to make. We ask that from the day that the program starts, not now and not when you receive the results. So from June 5th, we require 100% dedication. So in case you're working, you'll have to quit your job in whatever sense it is, full-time or part-time. If you're studying, you need to freeze or quit college or whatever it is that you're studying full-time. And that is because we expect people to build a startup that will eventually turn into a company and grow. And we believe that nobody can do that on a part-time basis. You need to be fully concentrated into taking this to the next level. We expect that throughout the program, you have at least an MVP. An MVP is a minimum viable product. What that means is that you have the minimum features that can get the benefit that you would like to give to your customers. If you have a platform and you can do an MVP with, I don't know, solutions that are already existing out there, that's okay. You can still give the benefit. It's not the final version, but you still can get the benefit and even charge for it. So we've seen, for example, startups that they're building a platform to connect to markets, and they sometimes are doing it through emailing and PDFs, and even like I once saw Google Forms. And it worked, and they even have revenue. They were even charging for it, okay? We understand that people that are in the biotechnology space or life sciences, that having an MVP, it takes longer. So for them, we expect to have a validation, at least of the product that they would like to have, in terms of if it would be relevant to solve it, okay? If the problem is out there and actually you can build a business around it. So we expect a lot of customer validation from those projects that we understand they have a research period that is longer than they would wish for. You need to apply with a video. That's very important. We receive a lot of different questions for the video. It's a 2-minute video. It's just like this, like your computer, the camera, make sure you're in a very quiet environment, and just tell us who you are, why the team is great. If you have another co-founder, ideally that the co-founder is there with you. If it's not there, you can do this like paste images or videos, one in the other. We have a few examples in the website if you would like to check it out. But don't spend money on editing or, I don't know, cartoons, if you call it animations. It's not something that we evaluate, and at the end, we don't consider it, okay? So be yourself, show the passion and the vision that you have for the problem that you were wanting to solve, and that's it for us, okay? The other thing is that you need to submit a recommendation letter. If you haven't done this already, do it now. How it works, you put the email of the person that you want a recommendation from. That person is going to receive an email with a link. They're going to write the recommendation and submit. Unless you have at least one recommendation, the platform won't let you submit. So say you send the email today and they don't respond by tomorrow at 5 p.m. I'm sorry, your application is dead. You won't be able to apply even that, okay? So do it on time. Call the people that are recommending you, make them easier, make them the work easier, like send information about you that you think it's useful and you think that they may not know it at the moment. So it's easier for them and faster for them to do the recommendation. Is a no-brainer. But yes, be very, very pushy into having it. You can have in between 1 to 3, but the system requires you to have at least one to submit your application. We're going to see other questions. Well, remember that we have this, yes, #SubWebinar, where we get all the questions. And now I'm going to follow the agenda. So we have questions regarding if you can apply in Spanish or not. In reality, yes, you can apply. You're not going to we're not going to eliminate your application because it's in Spanish, but it's highly recommendable that you do it in English. It's not that difficult. You have translators everywhere online for free. I'm sure you can know someone that can help you check the different typos that you might have. But yes, it's a recommendation that you do it in English, and especially also that there are people that evaluate it, that help us evaluate your application, that they don't speak Spanish, okay? So it's better to do it so. On the other hand, this is an international program. All the activities are in English. So even though you're not good at it, we at least expect that you try. We have founders from different countries that their English is not that good, but still they make the effort. Why? Because they're entrepreneurs and they cross barriers in case they need to do so. Okay, they make the effort. So we expect at least in the application to do the effort and do it in English. On the other side, we have received other questions regarding the demo that you have to do, or in the application form you can submit a demo. It depends on the product it is. Here people asking, is it a website, is it a screenshot of the same? If you do have a website, you can include the URL of the company, and then you can upload the information that you want us to see there. On the other side, if it is, for example, say a physical product, if you can submit a mock-up of it that explains, not in detail, but explains the flow of how it's going to work, that's great. We understand that sometimes there would be like intellectual property issues, so we don't want to know in detail. We just want to have information that would help us understand in a better way what is it that you're trying to do. That's the purpose of giving the demo and website, okay, to have more information on that. On the other side, people are asking about, so somebody else asked about the Spanish. I mentioned the program is fully in English. You'll have to pitch in English. The talks that we have and the workshops that we have are in English, so it's highly recommendable. If you're not fluent in English, you can always have somebody on your team. It's mandatory for the team lead to participate in the activities, but it's optional for the others. So if you're a team leader, you're not fluent in English, but you have somebody on your team that it is, yes, you can take that person with you so it can help you with the different activities, okay? About the video, again, it's asking about the language. So it says here, is it necessary that it's in English, or is there a possibility that it's in another language and has subtitles? It could be in that. Again, it's not something that we're going to kick out, but it's a technical evaluation. So it's a group of people that are creating a product or a solution that eventually will turn out into a company that will grow fast. Where? To different markets. And since everything is so globalized at the moment, we understand that English is a very valuable tool to do so, okay? So at the end, yeah, some sort of validation in terms of the language will be important, because if not, it's very difficult for the person to participate in the different activities. Here's a question regarding what is the highest level of education that needs to be completed. So it doesn't matter. We have had people that just went through high school, others that have done PhDs. It's not something that it's a minimal requirement. Of course, if you're doing something that is extremely difficult and requires a very strong technical skill, a formal education helps, but it depends. It depends on the skills that you have. We have had people that, I don't know, they have only high school education or are dropouts from college, but they have had significant professional experience that helps them understand and work in the environment that they're building the startup with. So it depends on every case. But again, put the information that you have, and that is the information that is going to be evaluated. Somebody here, okay, yeah. So somebody here is asking about the team member that is from a foreign country but doesn't have a passport and just went for the office to take it there. Yes, you can. If you don't have a passport, like a valid passport to apply, you can include the document that says, okay, this passport is pending. You can include that. Once is the program going to start, or the landing process, if that person needs to come to Chile, of course, the passport needs to be valid from that moment, okay? But for the application, you can include the document that says that it's pending. Somebody here is asking about including the subcategories in the industries, and there's no one that really fits with the product itself. So for once, the one that is required is industry. Okay, if you found a category on that, that's great. Subcategories, you can put as many as you want, but it's not a requirement. So if there's none of them that fits with your product, it would let you submit anyway, okay? And on the other side, you can put the ones that you think that in combination, they actually represent what you're trying to build on. Okay, so we have a question regarding the business model. Okay, so somebody here is asking how, remember there's a question like, how are you going to make money? That is the question that we are receiving at the moment. So in a sense that we would like to see if actually an idea that would have a viable business model in the market. We understand that innovation on the one side is creativity, invention, all those concepts, but if it's not applied in the real world, that's not innovation at all. It has to be implemented. And in order to be implemented, it needs to be sustainable. So you either have a viable business model or you figure out a way to finance your company in the long term. Okay? Of course, this should be the majority because this is almost living out of charity, which is extremely difficult. I would say almost impossible to do it for a very, very long time. You still need to have some business model. Okay, so the question is, with the solution that you're proposing, how that solution is going to get money. If, say, you have an application, that application is going to be for free, and then you're going to charge through say different features that you're going to add on. That's like a freemium model called. You can also have in-app purchasing, which you buy things like Candy Crush, for example. You buy lives, I think. I have never played that, but it's kind of the type of business model. You can check it out if you have subscription, like Netflix, for example, or you're going to sell a physical product. That is what we actually like to ask. We support for-profit startups. We don't support non-profit, okay? Why is that? Because we believe that companies or startups that are for-profit, it's easier for them to scale because they can get a big chunk of financing because interested are aligned with investors and the founders, okay? So remember, it needs to have at least a viable business model. We don't say that that is the business model that is going to stick for the entire time. Startups do pivot, do change along the way. They change their strategy, but they have the same vision. And that's good. That's a learning process that needs to happen. But we need to understand what is the initial way of that you think that you're going to get money with your startup, okay? Don't worry, it might change, yes, but we need to see the initial vision that we have, that you have on that perspective. And here we have one of the final questions. So they ask about the different activities that we have. So those are especially the pitching activities. We have intro day, we have pitch day, there's also meetings, mentoring, and somebody asked if it could be in any city in Chile or only in Santiago. So I'm sorry, the program takes place in Santiago, and it's also a very important way of creating this bonding in between all the different founders from the program and from the other programs that we have in Startup Chile. So if you are applying from a different city in Chile, what I would recommend is consider those 4 months to live in Santiago so that you can get the full experience of what the program is about. Or in the other case, you can choose and to travel from one city to another. Usually these activities are 2 weeks, like in 2 weeks difference. So it's not that you have to be the entire week doing things. We try to be as focused as possible in the activities that we have. On the other side, somebody asked if it's possible to apply with another program that is financed by Corfo, another program from Corfo. The answer is yes, you can apply at the same time, but if you get accepted in the both of them, and they are executed at the same time, you'll have to choose in between one or the other. You cannot receive money from the same founding source from Corfo at the same time. You'll have to choose. So it's either one program or the other, or in our case, it's not something that you can postpone. You say, yes, I can participate. No, that's it. I believe that there are other programs that they might wait for you until the S Factory program is over, but that you have to see individually with every single program that's out there. So there's another question here regarding the characteristics of my product, Innovative. How can I know which is the program that I should apply to, which is the ideal one, and it doesn't mean that it doesn't translate into reading a lot of pages of information, which at the end is confusing for the entrepreneur. I'm sorry. So you're applying for free public funding. That comes, of course, with some work that you would have to do in order to understand it. In our case, I understand the terms and conditions can be difficult for different programs, but it's something that you need to read it. At the end, you're signing a contract with the government, and you should read all the different requirements that are asked and what is your responsibilities towards it. You can check on Corfo's website. You can ask the people of customer service if they can help it. But at the end, to really identify the one for your specific time and period of your company, of your startup, I think you should try to read all the information possible. You might find things that you didn't think there were requirements, and at the end you can lose a lot of time applying to many things, and at the end getting rejected on all of them in the first place because it didn't go through. Okay. So remember that it's up to 6 months of development for a prototype. You can apply with just an idea, but we mean that up to 6 months is you're not in a pre-accelerator phase. Okay, that's why you're like overqualified. You should go into another funding like our seed funding or other types of funding that are for the middle stage. There's another question here about founders. So the question is, we're 2 founders and 2 team members. How many founders can apply? So in the application form, we're going to ask only for 2, the team lead and a team member. Remember, the team lead must be a woman. If there are 3 founders, in reality, even though in the application form it's not, you're going to be asking in one of the questions, what is the skill set that the team brings to the startup? And then you can explain all 3 of them. In that case, we will have the information on everyone so that we can evaluate the best possible way. Again, also in the video, if you are 3 and you want to show the 3 of them or 4, that's great. We want to see the entire perspective of the startup, even though in reality in the application form is just 2. Okay, so it's great that you have more people to help you with that, and it's going to be considered that it's a more, I'm sure if they have complementarities, it's going to be better to show the fit that the team has in order to pursue this startup and this solution. We have another question here. So the question is, we are Dutch startups, but our product is to work in developing countries, starting in Brazil. Would we have mentors that would have knowledge about Brazilian market? So to give you an idea, Startup Chile is a community from people that are from 80 countries now. 80, that is a lot. So it's a very international community. The mentors that we assign for TSF are people that have had their startups a while ago, not that far ago, because we understand that it needs to be someone that can relate to your problems when you're getting started. Okay, so the answer is yes, we can have mentors that can help you with opening Brazilian markets or other emerging markets. It's going to depend on the type of help that you might need. So a lot of people come to Chile to validate the hypothesis. It's a good market to start doing it. It's small, it's relatively easier if you would like to have a B2B business, because the hierarchies are not that big as, say, bigger markets like Brazil, Mexico, or I don't know, the US, for example, which are huge, and you have a lot of different steps to get into to reach a person that has actually an authority on the company. Here it's like smaller, so it's kind of easier. But yes, we have a community that it's strong, it's big, and you can connect with people that can help you open your startups in different markets and get different perspectives. We also are having a question here, and people asking if we need to, if you need to have an open entity, like a formal one, in order to apply. So the answer is no. You don't have to. You can apply with just yourself as a natural person, you and your team as a natural person. You don't need to have a company incorporated yet to apply to the program. In the TSF program, no requirement. In the seed program, you can apply as a company, an incorporated one, Chilean, or as a natural person. And in the scale, yes, those are companies incorporated in Chile that already have operations, they're already selling, and they already have investment. Okay, so just apply with yourself and your team, and that would be. Also, this person is asking is, what do you offer for companies with a focus outside of Chile? So as I mentioned, our community is big and strong, people from 80 countries. We create different alliances with accelerators outside of Chile, with a focus that is global, sometimes regional, accelerators, for example, that have a Latin American focus. We have a lot of different connections, and we're building our networks stronger and bigger every time, okay? So yes, we do have a lot of connections outside of Chile to help startups. I don't know, getting a good lawyer to open in the US, for example, or going into an accelerator program right after the S Factory at Startup Chile. So yes, the answer is we're a very international community, and this is the place to be in case you want to have a big expansion on your networks, okay? I have another question here. There's somebody asking, like, I would be fully available to the program, but now and then I would have to go to Brazil for negotiations. Is it a problem? If you have to be outside of the program, like 50%, no. If exceptionally you have to travel, say 4 days, yes, that would be possible. It's something that can be talked with the executive in charge of it. We understand this is an immersion program, so it's not useful if you're in and out and just going to the meetings that are required to. Okay, so we're ready with our Q&A session. Thank you so much for watching. If you have further questions, you can always write to our contact@startupchile.org. If you have technical questions, technical issues with the platform itself, you can write directly to uNoodle team. So that would be, the email is support@unoodle.com. Okay, we don't see technical issues in the platform. We just see questions regarding the application itself, the focus of the program, dates, etc. Okay, I hope you had fun. We are also still receiving questions from the hashtag subwebinar. So if you have it right there to tweet, you can do so. We're going to answer as soon as possible. Remember, tomorrow, 5 p.m. Chilean time, that is GMT -3. And hope to see you everyone there. I'm excited to see all the different startups that we're going to receive this year. It's the first application process for TSF this year. So we're very excited and preparing a lot of different activities and material for the acceleration process. So thank you, everyone. Have a great afternoon and hope to see you applying. Bye.